I've helped over 87 men in the last 6 months get to the leanest body fat percentage they've ever been using a predictable method of science called metabolic priming. In this video, I'm going to explain the smartest way to get lean and stay lean forever. So a ton of the men that I come across in today's industry who are trying to get shredded, trying to get six-pack lean, trying to get rid of the lower belly fat, or try to get rid of the lower little belly fat around the love handles, are trying fad diets on the internet like keto, carnivore, low carb, and statistically speaking, less than 50% of those people actually keep it off for good. So the number's actually closer to about 30. And of those 30% people, a significant portion of them actually gained more weight back after they lost it, right? So even if you stretch the time frame out to 3 years, 85% of people actually weight relapsed, right? So is there a smart way to get lean? Is there a better way to get lean? Is there a smarter way to get lean and stay lean for good, right? So in this video, I want to explain the smartest way to get lean so you can actually keep the weight off for good. And it comes in a couple different scenarios and a couple different lifestyle changes, but understanding how the body works is the first form of actually keeping it off for good. So a ton of the people that I come across do massive upfront diets, like they cut calories super fast, they cut all their carbs because something on the internet told them that carbs were bad, and they lose a significant amount of weight extremely fast, about 20 pounds in a month. I've seen 35 pounds in 6 weeks. And the problem with this is that you're reevaluating your mindset to thinking that you can continue losing that weight over time. And there's a couple things that are bad about losing that weight that fast, right? So one, when you go massive upfront diets, there's really no updating it, right? You just cut all your food, you lose a significant amount of water weight, and then, say you lost 35 pounds and then 15 pounds of it was actually muscle tissue. So the reason why that's bad is because there's a direct correlation between muscle mass lost and how your metabolic rate fluctuates. So the lower that you raise your calories without maintaining muscle tissue, your metabolic rate starts to lower as well because, muscle mass is highly metabolic, right? It holds a ton of calories in your body. So if you're starting to lose muscle mass, then you put your body in a space where it no longer needs as many calories to sustain your body. So as soon as you start eating a little bit more food, now your body's gaining weight back quicker than it can gain the muscle, right? So another reason is like understanding how the body actually works, right? Once you start to go massively upfront diets, cut all your carbs at once, the body wants to react very quickly. You got to realize the body is a very smart organism that is designed to adapt very quickly, right? So when you're going massive upfront diets and you cut your calories to 1,500, what are you going to do next? 1,400? Because at some point, your body's going to adapt. At some point, your body's going to adapt to the amount of calories you're eating. It's going to stop you from losing weight. Because the body's a smart organism. It doesn't want you to lose weight. Losing weight in general is controlled starvation. So the body wants you to stop starving, right? So understanding that, there's no updating that, right? There's no updating getting from 1,500 calories unless you want to go to 1,400 calories. Now you're under eating to the point where you're losing muscle tissue, you're lowering your metabolic rate, and as soon as you get something more to eat, you just gain all that right back, right? Which is one of the biggest reasons why I see in today's industry that people don't understand how to actually properly utilize your cut or how to properly utilize losing body fat and keeping it off for good. So body fat loss should be lost around 0.5 to 1.5 pounds per week, right? So people who are losing 20 pounds within, a few weeks, you're positively reinforcing your mind to think that you can continue losing those 20 pounds over and over and over again. And then you realize that you lose the initial water weight, you kind of start to plateau off, trying to fluctuate out, and then you get frustrated and just eat whatever you want, but now you've lowered your metabolic rate and you just gain it all right back, right? So there's in my program, in the guys that I work with, there's a big stigma that I have to break in a lot of their mindsets. It's like it's not a weight loss problem, it's a fat loss problem. We don't want to lose weight, we want to lose fat, right? We want to gain muscle and lose fat. And I know a lot of people listening to this right now is like, there's just no way. There's no way you can lose body fat and gain muscle. You absolutely can. What I specialize is in the process of actually utilizing your metabolism to our advantage to hyper-focus on growing muscle tissue, right? So growing muscle tissue will help raise your metabolic rate, right? So it comes in the form of eating 2,000 calories and burning 2,000 calories, opposed to eating 3,000 calories and burning 3,000 calories. So which one of those do you think is going to be more beneficial, or are they both the same? The answer is 3,000 calories, right? Because if you put into context your thermic effect of food, you put into context non-energy activity thermogenesis, and you put into context that now your metabolic rate is increasing because you have more food flowing. One, you might be burning 3,000 calories in the form of actual cardio or exercise activity, but now you're burning more calories doing nothing. So sitting doing nothing at your desk, you're now burning more calories inadvertently because you're eating more calories. So hyper-focusing on growing lean muscle tissue, eating more food, you can lose body fat and gain lean muscle tissue. It's how my clients are up thousands of calories and down 20, 25, 30 pounds eating more food, right? And a ton of people in the industry think that like this is wicked as all can get out and that like my clients aren't doing it. There's an entire case study folder of client after client after client after client that this process of metabolic priming actually works, right? So the reason why it's the smartest way to do it is because imagine eating more food and not having to starve. How much more sustainable would it be if you got lean eating more food and you didn't put your body in a space that you can actually eat more food, or you put your body in a spot where you're undereat on calories, and now anytime you eat more, you gain it back rapidly, right? So understanding how metabolic priming works, raising your metabolic rate, and putting your body in line with losing body fat, then I get my clients to, one, eat more food, raise their metabolic rate, and then we can utilize lowering the calories, right? So one, we align the body hormonally, right? We align the body hormonally with all the hormonal factors like T3, T4, metabolism, thyroid, testosterone, all in our favor. And then we start to actually lower it and add cardio from a higher amount of calories. Instead of utilizing maybe dropping significantly right off the bat to 1,500, having to go to 14, 13, 20, we slowly use metabolic priming to our advantage, raising the calories, increasing muscle tissue, increasing metabolic rate. And if now we're at, I guess, let's say for the sake of time, we're at 3,000 calories. Imagine how much easier it is to cut from 3,000 calories after you've already lost body fat and gained muscle tissue. That's why it's so predictable and it's the smartest way of getting lean, because you don't have to starve. You don't have to put your body in a place of metabolic purgatory. You don't have to put your body in a space of, being very insulin sensitive to carbohydrates. You utilize carbohydrates to your advantage. Because people think that carbohydrates are the worst thing in the goddamn world, that they're going to make you fat. Yes, they do make you fat, right? You eat too many carbohydrates, you get excess glucose, and your body stores it as excess energy. Yes. But when you get the correct amount of carbohydrates in your body, understand how much carbohydrates you have to eat, there's a synergistic effect to reducing adrenal fatigue, cortisol levels, and cortisol levels are the number one leading factor to visceral fat gained, right? So visceral fat is the actual fat around your organs, right? So your body can only hold so much subcutaneous fat till it starts leaking into the organs, and that visceral fat is very highly cellular active, right? It takes up a lot of inflammation, takes a lot of cellular activity, and so until you get rid of that visceral fat and hyper-focus on that visceral fat by decreasing a lot of inflammation, you can no longer, you won't be able to tap into that visceral fat. The reason why metabolic priming is so predictable in general, because it's actually a system. It's a system to put your body in a better spot so you can stay leaner for more long term, right? Another thing is actually accommodating for say like social events, right? Imagine if you went out to a social event, you had 3,000 calories to work with, right? Understanding macronutrients, how much you need to eat, what kind of carbohydrates, fats, proteins are in certain foods, you're able to go to social events, go on vacations, go on work trips. And a lot of people who end up gaining the weight back significantly over time, over the course of years, actually never understand how much you need to eat and how to navigate and plan ahead for social events, vacation, work trips, etc. And so they go on these, they gain a crap ton of weight because they've hyper-conditioned their body to eat low amounts of calories. They gain a crap ton of weight over the course of actually not being able to accommodate for this, and they put their body in a worse spot because they just gained a bunch of body fat back by overeating. We do something different. This is the smartest way to lose fat and keep it off for good. Because you utilize your body to our advantage, utilize your body's hormones, put your body in line hormonally to lose body fat, put you in a spot that's more sustainable calorie-wise instead of getting under 2,000 calories, and you learn the traits of how much you need to eat, protein, carbs, and fats, to make it a consistent lifestyle change, to understand what you need to do in specific situations to stay consistent but have flexibility, right? Because, a lot of people, they think that just chicken and rice 3 times a day, they do it for 6 weeks, they lose 10, 15 pounds. They're like, I'm tired of I'm tired of this diet. I'm tired of this food. Yeah, you should be, right? Nobody wants to eat the same food for 6 weeks, but you have to understand how much you need to eat. It's not about how clean you can eat. It's how much protein, carbs, and fats you need to eat. I have a client. His name's Andrew. He eats Skittles and M&Ms, at the end of his workday. He's down 15 pounds. He's now eating 1,000 more calories per day, right? Because he understands how much he needs to eat. Every food group in today's industry has a protein, carb, and fat. And a lot of people even get in my program, when we start to understand and teach them the necessities of how much they need to eat, what's in certain foods, you start to realize that there's a lot of things in today's food industry are highly saturated in fats. Like that salad you ate at Texas Roadhouse has 25, 30 grams of fat in it, right? It's not a healthy food when it's dosed in half of the amount of fat that you should actually be eating a day. So the actual education around staying lean is the reason why people can't stay lean long term. They put their body in a position of hypermetabolic purgatory, never actually learn how much you need to eat protein, carbs, and fats, never learn how much protein, carbs, and fats are in eating specific food, and that's where they go wrong, because they actually never make the lifestyle change because they never understand the lifestyle change. But what we do for our clients is different. We give them exactly what they need, teach them exactly how to do everything, and teach them exactly what to do with any type of scenario that can actually come in the form of your life, Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays, you name it. Like, my clients get that education around what they need to keep their long term. And that's how you learn how to stay lean. And that's why this process is the smartest way to get lean, because it's the most sustainable, right? And you want sustainability. Nobody really cares about being shredded for 8 weeks out of the year, if the other weeks out of the year you look sloppy, right? You want to learn how to stay lean, right? And if you want to learn how to stay lean, go ahead and sign up for a time down below. I'll walk you through the entire program. I'll sit you down with our client success team. Our track record is immaculate. You can go through client testimonial, transformation after transformation. More than happy to. My YouTube is filled with these type of resources for you guys. But for the ones who are serious and want to stay lean and get to the leanest body fat percentage they've ever been and actually learn the necessity to keep it off for good, sign up for a time below, and me and my team will see you soon.